Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam after a rough day yesterday. No two ways about it. We're back today giving you my best NBA player prop bets for today, Wednesday, March 15th. We are one day closer to March Madness, but still a good NBA slate that we have today. So we are going to be locking in some NBA player props. I mentioned that yesterday was rough. I had a couple good days in a row. Finally went back the other way yesterday. Had three NBA player props, went 1 and 2 on those to do a recap of yesterday. Kristaps Porzingis over 2.5 made threes, lost. Fred VanVleet under 2.5 made 3-pointers, lost. So I had an over that loss. I had an under that loss. I should have just flipped them. And then the one that I did get to hit was Chris Paul under 9.5 assists. So looking for today, I got a couple NBA player props for you guys. Real quick, before I get into it, I will say, would appreciate for those of you watching if you could like, comment, and subscribe. And then I would also recommend hitting me up on social media at my Twitter handle. You see on the screen here at Jedi Modi, also in the link of the description as well. I give out a ton more picks and analysis on my Twitter. Obviously, not everything makes it in a YouTube video. For today, I got two NBA player props that I have already locked in using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page. And the first one we can chat about, Zach LaVine under 2.5 made 3-pointers. This is at plus 130 odds at both Betway and DraftKings. So I locked this one in on Betway, as you can see right here, because they don't have me limited, so I can get more money on them. So I put 3/4 of a unit on Zach LaVine under 2.5 made 3-pointers. So a couple things to chat through this about why it's a good play. Number one is these no vig odds that you see here. So every single play on the positive EV page, you're going to see odds here under the no vig odds, right? And the cool thing about the OddsJam positive expected value page is you can filter specifically for whatever market you're looking for. So NBA player props, I have filtered for, so you guessed it, only NBA player props are showing up here. And the no vig odds that I mentioned here, these can be viewed as the perfect line for what a market should be priced at. Now, I have a video on my YouTube channel where I detail why positive expected value betting is so valuable and just give a little bit more detail about what exactly it is. For the purposes of this video, all you need to know, as I mentioned, is whatever odds you see in this column, which in this specific case is plus 125.27, you can view them as the true line of what a market should be priced at, right? The most accurate representation of this individual market, which again, for this specific bet, is Zach LaVine under 2.5 made 3-pointers. So any time in which you can get better odds than the OddsJam no vig line, and when I say better odds, I mean better for us as the people actually placing the bets. So essentially for more money, right? Higher payout is going to be something that is considered mathematically profitable, right? No vig odds, OddsJam perfect line prices this at essentially plus 125. We are getting it 5 cents higher at plus 130. The gap between these two numbers, that is your profitability. And you can actually calculate the percent edge you have over the sportsbook, or another way of viewing it is your percent of expected value, or a third way of viewing it is your profit margin, expected profit margin, I should say. Whatever method of viewing the percent makes the most sense to you, it all means the same thing. Basically, the bigger the gap between these two numbers, right, the no vig odds and the odds of the bet you're placing, the higher this percent is going to be. Now, that doesn't mean I only bet above a certain percent or anything like that. I can get into my strategy and like why I'll bet something that might be below 1% or a lower percent in general. But for this individual bet, that all checks out. But like every single play that shows up on the positive EV page is going to have a gap between these two numbers. That's why it's showing up on the EV page regardless. So the additional research that I do myself and that I recommend everybody that's using the positive EV page, I recommend doing this as well, is if anywhere your mouse is highlighted over a play, you can click it, literally just click your mouse, and it pulls up what you see here, which is just where every sportsbook is pricing this play. And what you want to do here is compare the odds of your bet, right? So plus 130, right here, plus 130, and compare that to every other sportsbook that is pricing odds for this play. Basically, you want to make sure that the odds of the bet you're placing are a true outlier compared to the majority of sportsbooks. And look at this one. Like, this is just insane. Plus 130 at Betway. Every other book, the closest one, is a full 21 cents lower at plus 109. But literally every single sportsbook is hovered between plus 100 and plus 109. Every other book is in between those two numbers. So this plus 130 is a massive, massive outlier compared to every other sportsbook. Now, if you're wondering why it's important to bet on outliers, I urge people to think not even from a sports betting mindset, but just like a logical mindset. Basically, sportsbooks price all of their plays individually, right? Like, they don't look at other sportsbooks' odds and then change their prices based on that. They all have their own individual way of pricing odds. So if, again, taking out of the sportsbook mindset, if every institution thinks that this should be more expensive than one sportsbook, right? Like, there's one or two outliers, and that outlier has it for a cheaper price, the most likely scenario here is that these outliers just have it mispriced and that it should be priced somewhere closer to where literally every other sportsbook is. So overall, like, if you think about the holistic view of things, if more often than not, you are placing a bet that's higher payout than what it should be, that is something that will be profitable in the long run. The most likely scenario here is that these odds are going to go down and we will have made a profitable bet, right? We will have generated positive closing line value. And if you do that, like I said, more often than not, that is something that will be profitable. Now, I'm not saying that this plays a lock. I know I'm hammering Zach LaVine under 2.5 3-pointers. It's a lock. I guarantee it's going to hit. Nothing like that. It's about a volume game. Like, if you look at my month, I'm having a pretty good March. Admittedly, I had a rough February, but I'm having a pretty good March. I'm up a majority of days. I'm not up every day, right? Down 500 on last Friday, down 350 just yesterday. But then we see days up 1.2K, up 550, up 594, up 553, up 800. In a 2-day span, I was up 2K. So more often than not, even on the bad months, you will be profitable. Like, February was a horrible month, the worst month I've had in a long time. Still up over $460. And just look at some of these days, right? Just a 4-day stretch, 1K, 300, 500, 400, down. Up 800, the next day down 1.2K. The last day of the month, when I was hoping to end things on a positive streak, down 600. It's very frustrating when you're in the middle of one of these days, weeks, months. But if you're doing the right things, placing bets from the EV page, looking into the outliers to making sure that you are betting on outliers, it's something that I'll almost guarantee will work out in the long run. If you want to look at my dashboard, which shows my entire history with oddsjam, I'm up as soon as this loads, like 28 or 29K. I can't remember the exact number, but I'm up a significant amount using oddsjam. You just have to accept the highs and the lows. Sorry for the loading time here. There's a ton of data. So up 28K since I've been using oddsjam, which was starting in September of 2021. So I know that was a long-winded way of saying, A, to bet on outliers, B, to accept some variance, but two very, very important concepts. So to confirm, play number one, Zach LaVine under 2.5 made 3-pointers. Play number two, Al Horford under 19.5 points, rebounds, assists. This is at plus 100 odds at FanDuel. So oddsjam perfect line, no vig line, prices this at minus 101. FanDuel offers it at plus 100. So there is a gap between these two numbers, giving you an expected value percent of 0.66. So for this example, it was a little bit of a lower percent at 0.66. But the reason why I like this one is compare the FanDuel line with every other sports book. So again, we can ignore Underdog and Prize Picks because they're DFS companies, so they have the same odds for every single play. But every single sports book that prices odds for this Al Horford play, every single one except for FanDuel, favors him going under, right? And when I say favors him going under, look at where both sides of the lines are priced. For BetMGM, they have the under at minus 125. The over is at minus 105. They have the under as the significantly more expensive play, which is them telling you they think that Al Horford is likely to go under. So they're making it more expensive to buy. As does Caesars, Bet365, DraftKings, BetOnline, Betway, and Pinnacle. Literally every single sportsbook that is pricing this play favors the under as the more likely scenario, and we are getting it at plus 100. Plus 100 is the easiest bet to conceptualize in sports. It's 50-50. You win half your bets at plus 100 odds, you are breaking even. You win any number above 50%, you are profitable. And these sportsbooks are telling us that Al Horford has an above 50% chance of going under this play, right? There's an above 50% chance of the under hitting, which is why there's the value at FanDuel at plus 100. And those are my two plays. Hopefully this video made sense. Hopefully the concepts that I talked about made sense and were helpful. If they were, would appreciate, again, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up on social media, and that's it. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.